The louder the world gets, the more people feel the need to say something. But silence in an age of chaos is something few dare to keep. There are those who don't need to step onto a stage, don't need to raise their hands, don't need to push themselves to shine. Yet simply by being present, the atmosphere changes. They observe more than they react. They reflect more than they debate. And when they choose silence, they're not disappearing, they're stepping back to see things more clearly. The brilliant physicist Stephen Hawking once said, "Quiet people have the loudest minds." And it's often those quiet minds that are quietly holding the ideas that could change the world. Actions speak louder than words. People can promise anything when things are easy. But it's only when times get tough that you see who talks less and does more. Some promise to stay yet disappear when you need them most. Some make no promises at all, yet show up the moment you fall. With time, we come to realize not everyone who says they care will walk with you to the end, and not everyone who stays silent is indifferent. Stephen Hawking once offered a blunt reminder: don't trust words, trust actions. People can tell you anything, but actions tell you everything. So don't ask what others think of you. Watch how they treat you when no one's watching. Habits shape the future. No one fails because of a single lazy day, and no one succeeds from one night of effort. Everything comes from what you repeat every day, when no one reminds you, no one watches, and no one rewards you. Success isn't a destination. It's the result of habits. And habits are the quiet choices you make each morning when no one is forcing you. Some people wake up early, others hit snooze. Some read one more page. Others dive into an endless loop of distractions. Everyone dreams of a better future, but only those who live differently today will ever get there. Stephen Hawking once captured this truth in a single sentence: people do not decide their futures. They decide their habits, and their habits decide their futures. The question isn't whether you have a dream. It's this: what are you repeating every single day? Staying calm is the highest form of strength. Some people explode the moment they're hurt, but others simply smile, not because they don't feel anything, but because they refuse to give others the power to control their emotions. Staying calm doesn't mean you're not angry. It means you're angry, but not out of control. It means you know you could shout, could fight back, but you choose silence and wait for the right moment in life. The ones who react the fastest are often the ones who make the most mistakes, but those who know how to pause are the ones strong enough to see everything from above. Stephen Hawking, a man who once couldn't move his own body, still said, with quiet power, "You are at your strongest when you are calm." Because the person who can stay calm in the middle of a storm is the one no one can predict and no one can manipulate. Don't raise your voice, raise your reasoning. In an argument, everyone wants to be louder, but the wise don't fight for the spotlight. They fight for what's right. You can shout louder, but that doesn't make you more right. In fact, the more you lose your temper, the more you reveal your weakness, because at that point, you're trying to persuade with emotion, not with logic. Wise people don't try to drown others out. They elevate their thinking so their words are sharp, without needing to be loud. Stephen Hawking once emphasized a truth that sounds simple, but runs deep. Don't raise your voice. Improve your argument. That line isn't just about how we argue. It's about how we live. Don't try to be louder. Live with reason. Because in a noisy world, the loudest voice isn't always the right one, but a clear argument always carries weight. Even when spoken in the softest tone, a smile solves, silence avoids. There are two ways to face a problem: smile or stay silent. A smile doesn't always mean you're happy. Sometimes it means you've grown enough not to fight pain with more pain. And silence doesn't mean weakness. It means you understand that not every battle is worth fighting. Smart people don't react to every word thrown at them. They choose carefully. They save their energy for what truly matters. In one of his reflections on human strength, Stephen Hawking once wrote, "Smile is the way to solve many problems. Silence is the way to avoid many problems." And indeed, there are moments when a gentle smile can diffuse even the most tense situation, and a moment of silence can save a relationship from breaking beyond repair. When someone starts avoiding you, let them go. There's a kind of silence that doesn't need an explanation. They stop texting, stop checking in, stop showing up. And deep down, you know it. But because of hope, you wait a little longer. Because you care, you reach out one more time. Yet at some point, you need to understand, coldness is also an answer. And growing up means being calm enough to step back, instead of trying to stay where you're no longer welcome. Stephen Hawking once offered a gentle yet powerful reminder: once you feel you are avoided by someone, never disturb them again. Letting go doesn't mean you've lost. It means you're strong enough to stop holding on to what's no longer meant for you. Some doors don't slam shut. They just quietly close without a sound. And your job is not to keep standing there knocking. Failure doesn't need to be told. It only needs to be overcome. People often talk a lot about what they've achieved, but the truly powerful moments usually happen in silence. Some people carry their losses without anyone knowing. Some fail miserably, yet the next morning they still show up with a smile, as if nothing broke. They don't complain. They don't post it online. They don't ask for sympathy. They simply gather the pieces and keep going. Stephen Hawking, who lived for decades battling illness, once said, "Some people are so quiet and brave, we don't even notice that they are suffering." And that is real strength. Not who can endure pain the most loudly, but who walks through it quietly, without needing applause. Life doesn't reward great storytellers. It quietly clears the path for those who dare to move forward. Trusting others is easy. Trusting yourself, that's hard. Have you ever noticed? When someone praises you, you believe it easily. When someone criticizes you, you believe that too. But when you try to tell yourself, "I can do this," you hesitate. Trusting others is easy. It only takes a few words. But trusting yourself takes a whole journey. Believing in yourself doesn't mean thinking you'll never fail. It means that even if you fail, you still believe you can rise again. Stephen Hawking, a man who couldn't walk but never stopped moving forward once, said something that cuts to the core. Believing others is easy. Believing in yourself, that's the real challenge. Believing in yourself is a hard choice, but if you don't make it, you'll spend your life dependent on validation from the outside. And the first person who needs your belief is you. Life is an echo. What you give is what you get. There's a law that works, whether you believe in it or not. What you give eventually comes back to you. Not immediately, not from the same person, but certainly it returns. In some way, in some moment, from someone you never expected. Have you ever been cold to someone? One day, you may feel someone else being cold to you without knowing why. Have you ever been kind without expecting anything in return? Someday, someone will help you without needing to know your name. Life doesn't ask for your excuses. It simply reflects you. Stephen Hawking once said something that becomes clearer the more you live. Life is an echo. What you send out comes back. What you give, you get. So when something negative shows up, don't be so quick to blame fate. It might just be the echo of something you once sent out and forgot. 3 things smart people always keep private: money, goals, and pain. The more people grow, the quieter they become. Not because they're closed off, but because they understand something important. Some things, if revealed too soon, lose their power. Like money. When you talk about it too much, you never know if you're sparking curiosity or envy. Like goals. The more you speak of them, the easier it is to believe you've already arrived. But the wise stay silent, so they can go farther. And like pain, not everyone is deep enough to understand it. And not everyone who listens actually cares. Stephen Hawking, who spent most of his life in a wheelchair, once said something that made many stop and reflect. An intelligent person keeps 3 things private at any cost: financial details, personal goals, and their struggles. There are things that, the more you protect, the lighter your life becomes. Not because you're hiding them, but because you're protecting yourself. Strength doesn't need to be loud. You don't have to prove yourself to the world. You don't have to list everything you've endured. You don't have to share every plan, every wound, every dream. Because true strength is the calm confidence to hold back what needs holding. In a world loud with ego, those who choose silence, who choose to act, then quietly step away from the crowd, are often the ones building something that lasts. And if you're one of them, don't worry if no one sees you today, because it's in the unnoticed moments that your true self is quietly growing. As Stephen Hawking once said, "Although I cannot move and I have to speak through a computer, in my mind, I am free." Freedom isn't about who hears you. It's about no longer being controlled by the noise outside. Keep that silence. Keep that calm, because the world doesn't need more people who speak well. It needs more people who live deeply. If you're walking the path of the quiet ones, and stay, hit follow, because here, we don't need noise to stand strong.